How can I help you?
A lot of people call your show and they talk about, problems outside, and I just want to get to the point. I'm the one with the problem. I've blown up
Joe,
my entire
you
marriage.
are hold on a second. You're my new favorite person. Because you're right. A lot of people, a lot of people do. That's what happens with psychologists. Somebody comes in and say, "How can I help you?" Well, my husband or my wife or and the problem's always
Hmm.
outside the room, and that's normal. That happens, but it is so nice when
Of course.
somebody comes in and say, "I have an issue I need to work on." So kudos to you. I don't know what your issue is, but way to go for taking ownership of that.
Yeah, I need some help. My question is, I just want to know if I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right track. I've blown up my entire life. I've been
Hmm.
married for 15 years. I have 3 kids. I used to work at a place that was very prominent in the community, and now I don't because of some indiscretion of mine. And then I went and got hired at a really good law enforcement job, and then I left that because of some deep fear that I had of failure. Um, all that
Hmm.
to say is my wife and I were on the right track. Everything was going well, but I had a big blind spot that I did not tell her about. And as a result, I wasn't honest about that. And it triggered everything from before. This is about a 3-year journey now. And I am
Wait a minute.
fighting for my marriage right now.
Let me make sure I'm understanding. When you say it triggered everything before, you had an indiscretion. Is that what you mean? That
Hmm.
later there was another indiscretion which triggered the trauma from the first
Uh, yes.
one. Is that right?
The second indiscretion was nothing like the first indiscretion.
Okay. All right. Let's just leave it at indiscretion if you don't want to be specific, but something that made her not trust you.
Hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah. So the first indiscretion was with another person. The second indiscretion was um, I left my job out of fear and I didn't tell her about it. I had a
Oh, I
good
see.
law enforcement job, new career, and something came over me that was powerful enough for me to not ask for help. And so
Mm,
as a result, I left and everything came crumbling down. Um,
wow.
yeah.
And
So
you couldn't
we
ask
are
for help because
separated. It's
was
been
there a
almost
lot
six
of
months.
shame? Were you afraid that if you asked for help,
Hmm.
was it shame or
Hmm.
fear everybody would not help you or abandon you, or what was driving that?
Yes, fear and shame, fear of failure. Although I had nothing to that would cause me to believe that I was actually failing. I was liked there, and I was doing
Yeah.
fine. I just I felt like I couldn't do it. I'm like, man, I'm almost 40, trying to start this career. I'm older than most of these guys, and
Mm,
what's wrong with me right now? I will tell you, I was very immature. If I am dead honest, I need help with that still. Um, where I came from, a place I thought I was awesome, um, but
well,
now I'm just
you
trying to
probably
see if
you
I'm doing the
probably
right
had a
thing.
lot you probably had a lot of awesome parts that accomplished a lot in the world, except the one thing that our awesome parts can't accomplish, which is to
Hmm.
heal and make up for the weaknesses that have to be addressed in their own right. So that's probably more what
Yeah,
happened, right? You got a lot of strengths and
I
you
was
try to
a
depend on those, but without
yes,
facing the
sir.
pains and the dependencies and the fears underneath it. And that's generally how we finally hit bottom. Our weaknesses kind of catch up
Mm,
with us. So
that
don't
makes
feel
sense.
bad about that, buddy. That's human. But now it's time to
Well, like
figure
you
out the
said,
next step.
yeah, like you said earlier, life has come and knocking,
Yeah.
and I'm
So
fighting
tell
for
tell
everything that
me
is
tell me
important
your
to me.
question. How can I help you?
Well, I want to know if I'm on the right track or at least going in the right direction. My wife and I don't communicate at all, really, at any level. It's just business. We've been separated for about going on 6 months now. I only get to see the kids basically every other week, and phone calls are limited. She does not trust me at all. She thinks everything pretty much is a lie. I am in therapy. I have a wonderful counselor. I'm very grateful. I can
Great.
tell you this, where I am now, I am grateful for, and I will be the person I'm supposed to be, with or without her, for
Great.
God and for my family. I don't have what I would consider a solid support group. It's hard because a lot of people were hurt by me. I'm just trying to figure out, how do I re-engage? How do I connect with that? Am I on the right path doing that? Are those some good things in the very least?
Well, all those things are good things, with the exception of, and a couple of things you said are really good things. You said that you want to get well with or without her. And that's something we
Mhm.
always ask in situations like this. If somebody's trying to perform the way back into the marriage, then that there's still a dependency there. Like, the reason I'm being
Yeah.
good is so you'll be with me, which is a good reason to be good anyway. But you want somebody to be good for being good's sake, right? You want somebody to get well because you need to get
Mhm.
well for you. Now, the benefit of that, hopefully, is you'll get your wife and your family back. So I really like that. That's really powerful. There's a lot of ownership here. You recognize that it was fear that was underlying this. The big question is, are you bringing the forces to bear to really help you heal with the weaknesses that drove this behavior?
Mhm.
And so I would want, you said you're in therapy, that's a very good thing, but I would want you in a peer community that really
Okay.
supported this. And when I say peer, I mean other people that are going through it. Okay. Like, if you take a
Okay.
recovery group, for example, everybody in
Mhm.
there is in recovery, and so they can identify with each other. The other thing you
Yeah.
need is you need some external support of people that aren't going through it. So I
Okay.
like to see people have, I would like to see you have, a group of men that you're connected to that um, that aren't struggling with these kind of things.
Yeah.
They're doing well in their marriage. They're committed to their marriage. They're committed to their kids. Their career's going well, because we tend to become like the people we hang around. And so I want you
Yeah.
becoming like the peer group that's struggling. Because why do I want you to be with a lot of peers that's struggling? Because I want you to be like them. I want you to be working on your issues. And that's really important. But I also want you to be around some people
Okay.
that are modeling the kind of life that doesn't have these issues, because that's really important. And I would want both.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let me give you one more tip here. Um, have you ever heard of my book, Necessary Endings?
Yes.
Um, I wish we had book inventory. We don't, or I would send you one. But I would suggest you go take a look at that book. And in there,
Okay.
there's a list. You could also, I'm going to gift you a subscription to Boundaries.me. Give Albie your information. There's a
Okay.
chapter in there on
Thank you.
when to have hope. When to have hope.
Mhm.
And we do have a necessary endings. I mean, a on Boundaries.me, we have a course on necessary endings. So you're going to get all this content, because now you're a Boundaries.me member. How about that? So there's
Yes,
a
sir. Thank
there's
you.
a you're welcome. There's a section in there on when to have hope. We also have a course on hope, I'm finding out, which I should have known. I filmed it. We also have a course on hope.
Mhm.
But I want your wife to know when she should have and open the door to hope, and when she shouldn't.
Mhm.
In other words, right now, she's not trusting because of good, real reasons of things that have happened. Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. But there's also really good reasons to begin to trust somebody after a failure. It's just difficult for people to know which one to do. And that course
Right.
will tell you the objective reasons, which a lot of them you're doing. And the other reason I want you to look at and is then I want you to go down that list and you said, am I doing the right things? If you're doing these things, then I would bet on you. Right? These are the things that make people trustworthy again. So it's not over, buddy.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people come back from,
I believe that.
times just like yours. So keep at it. My heart goes out to you. I'm sure that, if you look on whichever you're on YouTube, I guess there's going to be a lot of support there for you. And I got
Yeah.
a verse for you. One of my favorite verses is, I think I mentioned this yesterday, actually. Right before Peter went out and failed miserably, he betrayed a trust in Jesus. Remember, he denied him 3 times. Right
Yeah.
before he did that, Jesus predicted that. And then he said this. He's looking at the
Hmm.
failure that Peter's about to have. And he says, you're going to fail 3 times, but then after you have returned, you're going to become the source of strength for many. And that's what I want
Yeah.
for you. That if Jesus were looking at you, which he was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he saw all
Yeah.
this coming, but he can see past that to when you're doing all the hard work, that you're going to be somebody that's trustworthy and you'll be able to be the source of strength for other people. So I'll leave you with that. God bless you. And thank you for
Thank you.
your call. There's nothing, gosh, there's just nothing better than redemption. I hate it that we live in a world now where somebody can make a mistake and it's like lights out. They're canceled for life. And I'm not talking about enabling bad behavior. We need to call out bad behavior. But don't we want a world where we believe that people can change and get better? Isn't this why we do this every day? Remember when the woman was caught in adultery and they brought her to Jesus and said, the law says stone her, kill her, cancel her, really cancel her. And he turned to the whole group and said, well, any of you that has never sinned, you throw the first stone. He said, neither do I condemn you. Now go and become somebody who can be trusted. Paraphrasing there, he said, go and sin no more. People can change, people. But you don't change on a promise. You change on objective realities. That's why we have that course on when to have hope. Go to boundaries.me and you can look that up.